everybody to the regular scheduled meeting of the City Board of Commissioners. We will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Ward and the invocation by Commissioner Holbert.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in our performance of duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just in the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Okay, a motion to approve the agenda. Any comments or amendments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All right. Agenda is approved, and we will move on to our first presentation. We'll recognize Takesha Cunningham, Customer Service Representative with the Customer Service Department, as the October 2014 Strongest Link Award recipient.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We're going to probably giggle a lot up here tonight, so excuse us. A couple years ago, we had a great day when Takesha Cunningham came to work for the city of Griffin. We were very, very lucky. Then we had a sad day when Takesha Cunningham left the city of Griffin. And then we had another happy day when Takesha decided to come back to work for us after dealing and taking care of some family issues. Sweetheart, we love you, and Laura's going to take this over, and we're so glad you're back and getting the strongest link, but I'm going to turn it over to Laura so she can finish it up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I get to work with Takesha every day, and it's a pleasure. Actually, Takesha got to go up and work with the city manager for a little while when he found himself shorthanded, and so the Strongest Link Award is for the job that she did in helping his department, and so he got to know how lucky he was for a little while in knowing how wonderful that she is and what a wonderful job that she does. But he didn't get to keep her. He had to give her back. And so we were so glad to get her back because it was horrible while she was gone. So I'm thrilled to have her back. I'm also thrilled that someone else knows what a treasure that we have in the customer service department and how lucky our customers are to have such a wonderful person helping them with their utility needs every single day. So, Takesha, this is for you, and we thank you for what you do for us every single day, and I know the city manager appreciated what you did for him as well. So, thank you.
And Calvin, last month's Strongest Link from the electric department is going to give you your chain. Calvin, look, so we'll take a picture.
All right, thank you. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, it was a pleasure working with you, Mr. Smith, so just want to say thank you, and I thank you for this award, so thank you.
All right. Congratulations, and thank you, Laura, for nominating her. I enjoyed reading the write-up on that. Next, we will consider a proclamation declaring November 21st through the 27th as Farm City Week in Griffin, Georgia. I have a motion approved. Do I have a second? motion is second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous. And with Wade, we're gonna proceed here. Great, and to everyone else. All right. A proclamation, Farm City Week, whereas Georgia farmers and ranchers play a key role in providing food, clothing, shelter, and fuel to our state, nation, and the world by producing a bounty of agricultural products. To do this, they rely on essential partnerships with urban and suburban communities to supply, sell, and deliver finished products. Rural and urban communities working together have made the most of our state's rich agricultural resources as they contribute to the health and well-being of our state, our country, and to the strength of our economy. And whereas during Farm City Week in Georgia, we recognize the importance of this cooperative network. Agriculture contributes more than $76 billion annually to Georgia's $809.9 billion economic output. 1 in 7 Georgians work in agriculture, forestry, or agriculture-related fields. The value of crops produced in Spalding County is $7.3 million and includes poultry, beef, small grain, hay, vegetables, timber, ornamentals, and Christmas trees, among other crops. And whereas the agricultural industry provides us with food, clothing, and shelter, as well as fuel for our energy needs. As we welcome new opportunities for trade, the hard work and successful cooperation between farmers and city workers will continue to play a vital role in our state and nation's future. And whereas Farm City collaborations help maintain and improve our food and fiber supply and contribute to a better quality of life for our city. We commend the many Americans whose hard work and ingenuity reflect the true spirit of America and help to ensure a prosperous future for all. And whereas this week, as we gather with family and friends around the Thanksgiving table, it's fitting that we count among our blessings the vital Farm City partnerships that have done so much to improve the quality of our lives. And therefore, I, Ryan McLemore, Mayor of the City of Griffin, do hereby acknowledge and proclaim November 21st to 27th, 2014 as Farm City Week in Griffin, Georgia. We call upon citizens in rural and urban areas to acknowledge and celebrate the achievements of all those who, working together, produce and supply our community and nation with an abundance of agricultural products. The witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed and solemnity of November 2014. Ryan McLemore and City Manager. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks very much for the proclamation. Farm City Week's been observed in this country since the mid-50s, and it's a perfect week with our nation's biggest feed typically on Thanksgiving to recognize the interdependence and the connection that exists between rural and urban societies. Remind you as well to come and join for the annual Farm City Week lunch at the Kiwanis Club of Griffin meeting. Your invitation is forthcoming, should be in your boxes this week, but it will be November 26th, starting at 11:45. Look forward to seeing you there.
I got to compliment you for what you do keeping this up, because these kids today have no clue where the food comes from. And I remember Charles' lovely wife telling me that she had a hospital call from someone when they had the dairy, that they don't need their stinking cows. They can always go to the store to get milk.
It was good that they talked to my wife and not me.
You know, it's that comment and the comment as well about the chocolate cows providing the chocolate milk. We thank you for your recognition.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
I'm Charles Rux, President of Spalding County Farm Bureau, retired dairy farmer, transplant like Dick, but I've been here 46 years, I guess. Most of my life I spent in Spalding County, so it's been a good place. We appreciate y'all recognizing us. And we farm, y'all eat. That's the bottom line. Remember that, okay?
Thank you. All right. We'll move on to our next proclamation. Consider approval of proclamation recognizing November as National Hospice Palliative Care Month. Do I have a motion to approve? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous. And I believe we have a representative from Eternal Hope. And do we have someone from Brightmoor as well?
know it's the exact same proclamation for both organizations, so I'm just going to read it once before I give it to you guys. A proclamation, National Hospice Palliative Care Month, November 2014. Whereas hospice and palliative care provides patients and families the highest quality care during life-limiting illness and at the end of life, through expert pain management, symptom control, emotional support, and spiritual care to patients and family caregivers when a cure is not possible. And whereas every year more than 1.6 million Americans living with a life-limiting illness and their families receive care from hospice palliative care provider programs in communities throughout the United States. Hospice care is most effective for patients and families in the final months of life when families can take full advantage of the range of services hospice provides. And whereas professional and compassionate hospice staff, including physicians, nurses, social workers, therapists, counselors, health aides, and spiritual care providers, offer comprehensive care focused on the wishes of each individual patient and family. And whereas the medical community has recognized hospice as a subspecialty with an emerging group of healthcare providers who specialize in end-of-life care. More than 350,000 trained volunteers contributed 16 million hours of service to hospice programs last year. And whereas providing high-quality hospice and palliative care reaffirms our belief in the essential dignity of every person, regardless of age, health, or social status, and that every stage of human life deserves to be treated with the utmost respect and care. And whereas local hospice and palliative care providers encourage all people to learn more about options of care and to share their wishes with family, loved ones, and their healthcare professionals. Therefore, we, the Commissioners of the City of Griffin of the State of Georgia, do hereby proclaim November 2014 as National Hospice Palliative Care Month in the City of Griffin and encourage all citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of care at the end of life. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed this 11th day of November 2014. Signed, Ryan McLemore, Chairperson, and Kenny Smith, City Manager.
We want to thank you so much for this opportunity to acknowledge National Hospice and Palliative Care Month, and for us to say how excited we are with the collaboration between the city and our new inpatient facility that's being built within the city limits. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As we celebrate our 10th anniversary next year, we're excited to be recognized. We appreciate your support, continued support in this community, as Brightmoor's been a part of this community for several generations, and we appreciate y'all recognizing us tonight.
Thank you. All right. Can I get a...
I mean, we'll all do it.
Sure you do want to point out? All right. Thank you all for being here. All right, we'll request acceptance of a $10,000 check donated by Waffle House to the Griffin Police Department for the purchase of an on-body camera system for the police department. The purchase will include 60 on-body cameras that will be worn by the officers. And Chief Eaton, would you like
Good
to...
evening. How are you all?
We're doing well.
As you remember, in May of this year, we lost Officer Jordan when he was shot and killed working at the Waffle House. Shortly after that, Pat Warner, who is the Vice President of Culture from Waffle House, reached out to me and asked if there was anything that Waffle House could do to help the police department. We talked about several different things, talked about vests, we talked about a variety of different pieces of equipment. After doing some research, we decided that we would look at on-body camera systems for our officers. I think that having the cameras for the officers would be very beneficial for both citizens and the officers, so that we have a recording when an officer has an event or a contact with one of our citizens. And certainly in that case, had we had the video camera, we would have had a bird's eye view of exactly what happened in that incident. So as a result of that, Waffle House was generous enough to offer a $10,000 check to the police department. And here with me, I have Pat Warner, who's the Vice President of Culture, Jeff Wright, who's the Director of Security for Waffle House, Carlton Williamson, who is the Senior Vice President, and Terry Levecchi, who is the Area Vice President in Waffle House.
Chief Heaton, on behalf of Waffle House, we're honored to present this check in memory of the late Kevin Jordan, and just continue to keep him and his family in our prayers. He was really a family of the Waffle House, and continues to be greatly missed.
Thank you, sir.
Pose for a picture.
Monkey in the middle.
Monkey in the middle.
Mr. Warner, we appreciate you and your Waffle House team stepping up to do that for the police department. I know that'll be a very valuable donation that will go a long way, and we truly appreciate y'all being part of this community and doing that for us. All right, next we will go to presentation of the annual audit results and the comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2014.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we had another successful year, I would say. And I'd like to present Wade Sansbury, the principal auditor. Actually, he's now the principal partner in charge of the Bradenton office, so congratulations on that promotion. So without further ado, I'll introduce Wade, and he'll present the results of the audit for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcus. Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Happy to be here with you all again tonight. As Marcus said, I'm here to briefly go over some highlights of the annual CAFR for the city as of June 30, 2014. Would like to just jump right on into page 1 and 2, which is the independent auditor's report. This again is an unmodified report. It's a clean opinion, which is what you all wish to receive. In our opinion, these financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the city as of and for the year ended. I would like to point out that there is on page 2, kind of in the middle, there's a emphasis of a matter paragraph. As you all are aware, the city and the county created a couple of years back the new Griffin and Spalding County Airport Authority. This emphasis of a matter paragraph talks about that creation, as well as a special item whereby the city on July 1st, 2013, transferred all of its actual airport operations to that airport authority, and discloses that in Note 1 and Note 18. After the opinion, we have what's called the MD&A, the Management's Discussion and Analysis. There's always a lot of good information there, a lot of good comparative information. If you don't read anything else in the statements, I always recommend that you read the MD&A. That is written by management, and it gives a good comparative analysis, 13 as compared to 14. Page 13 is the statement of net position. Would like to point out that at the end of the year, the city had approximately $210 million in total assets. That's up about $5 million from that of the prior year. This is offset by total liabilities of about $83.2 million. That's down from about $85.3 million from the prior year. All of those are going in the right direction. Page 14 is the city's entity-wide level income statement, if you will. At the end of the year, there was a positive increase in total net position of about $6.6 million, and that is in addition to the $3.1 million that was transferred out to the new airport authority. So again, a very good, strong, positive operations for the city during the year. All told, we come down to a positive net position of the city of $126.5 million as of the end of the year. following page 15 is the balance sheet for the governmental funds. Obviously, the city's primary fund is the general fund. You had total assets of a little over $10 million as of the end of the year, coming down to a positive total fund balance this year of about $8.3 million. Page 16 is your income statement for the general fund as well as your other governmental funds. The city saw about $18.4 million in total revenues. This was a pretty good increase over that of the prior year. Total expenditures were $24.7. This is a very flat total expenditures as compared to 2013. All told, the general fund saw an increase in its fund balance of about $313,000. Okay. Skip ahead to the city's enterprise funds on page 20. Obviously, the city has a lot of utility operations, both water, wastewater, electric, solid waste, stormwater, what have you. At the end of the year, the city's total assets for its enterprise activities was about $178 million. This is a significant increase over the prior year of about $169 million. Total liabilities were up a little bit as well. This is due to some due from balances that were there at the end of the year that will be trued up going forward. But all told, a positive $90.9 million of total net position as of the end of the year. Pages 22 and 23 are the income statement, or is the income statement for the city's enterprise funds. Again, a very strong, positive result of operations during the year. You had total revenues of $74.4 million, total operating expenses of $59 million, for $15.4 million operating income. Again, very good, strong operations there, which you would expect to see from such operations. Pages 24 and 25 are the cash flow statements for those funds. One of the most important operations and one of the most important statements in my mind for you all to look at. I mean, you once again have very good, strong, positive operating cash flows to the tune of $21.8 million, a slight increase over the prior year. You need that operating cash flow to be able to pay for upgrades and expansion of the system on an annual basis. After that, you've got your statement of fiduciary assets for the municipal court fund. This is an agency fund that holds all of its assets on behalf of others. After that, you've got your footnotes. Again, a lot of good detailed information there. If you ever have trouble sleeping at night, you can always read your footnotes. Again, I would like to point out on page 67, note 18, this is again is the special item footnote regarding the transfer of operations of the airport to the new airport authority. Again, it was a $3,152,000 net position transfer out from the city to that of the airport authority. And the airport authority is also presented in these financial statements now as a discretely presented component unit. So it has its own column up front, and that is audited also by us. It is included in the aggregate opinion unit for your discretely presented component units. Kind of a tongue twister there. So that's your footnotes. After that, you've got a lot of well, let me touch base on page 68. Your schedule of funding progress for both your pension and OPEB funds. The pension plan funded ratio is 83.5% as of the end of the year. Good strong ratio there. The OPEB plan is 44% approximately, but that plan has only been around for a few years, and as you can tell on page 68, that funded ratio continues to increase, as you would expect, since the city has decided to actually fund that liability. Going forward, you've got your combining schedules for all of your non-major governmental funds as well as your enterprise funds. I'll skip over all of those. Following that, you've got your statistical section. This is 10 years worth of historical data over the city. A lot of good information there. Won't go over all of that. Then we go to the compliance section. There are two. The compliance section begins on page 123. You've got two opinions there. You've got our Yellow Book report as well as our single audit report. This year the city expended and received and expended over $700,000 of federal funds, $766,792, which required us to perform 2 separate single audits this year, one on your CDBG grants as well as your non-point source implementation program. Happy to say that those get their own individual scrutiny and audit procedures performed on them, and we didn't have any non-compliance issues there, which is good to note. As far as the financial statements go, there was one financial statement finding, which is disclosed on page 130. This is regarding accrued payroll. Effectively, the final payroll for the city that ended June 28 was not accrued, and we had to actually make an adjustment to accrue that as of the end of the year. Not a very big deal, not a very unusual item there at all. There were 2 findings in the prior year regarding customer deposits and management of debt transactions. Both of those were cleared up during the year, so we only had the one item this year. And that is, really quickly, the city's CAFR for 2014. Are there any questions?
Very good audit.
Very good result this year. You guys had a very positive operations this year. Should be commended.
Do we have any questions? I agree, and I actually did read it not at night, and I didn't fall asleep.
Okay, great.
You know, I went through just
You're the first.
rapt attention to it. No, but the notes are actually kind of interesting, and you really do. It really highlights a lot of the inner workings of how this operation,
That's
the
right.
city as a whole, is, and you learn a whole lot from them. So, thank you, Marcus and the team for the hard work. We know it's a culmination of a year's work that you can kind of get in the background, put behind you, and move on to the next year. But a lot of work went into preparing the CAFR, and look forward to getting another award for it. So,
Yes, sir.
if there's no other questions, thank you for.
All right. Well, great. Thank you very much. Again, if you all have any questions ever in the future, please feel to give me a call. Thank you.
All right, and we'll just move right on into where we're at right now. Financials for September.
Okay, we're looking at only a quarter of the year this time, not halfway, although next month will be half. But anyway, moving on. The statement of cash balance here. Do you have any questions on cash balances? I know that this was sort of a semi-useful piece of information. Do we want to continue to present this? I can always change it.
I think it's okay to have the cash balances.
Okay.
As long as it's not a 20-page cash balance document.
No, I promise not to do that.
Keeping the summaries.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. And the next item is the sales tax analysis, the local option sales tax. And SPLOST numbers, obviously we have 3 months reported there for the local option sales tax. Total collected $857. That's roughly a little over 25% of the budget. And we have 1 month collected for July for the SPLOST. And items there, the cash collected is being reserved for the bond payment. Next item, the interim statements by fund. Any questions on revenues or expenditures for 25% for the year? Okay, hearing none. And last but not least, the favorite report, the revenue status report for the general fund as of September 30th. Again, the projections are conservative at best, so it's too early to tell where we're going to be because of changing economics. But you do have a lot of information there. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions about it, or we can talk about it now.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Marcus? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we will move into citizens' comments. At this time, the chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. Chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer first speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolutions. Do I have anyone that would like to come forward and make a citizen comment? All right. And we will move on to public hearings, where we have two public hearings tonight. First, we will receive comments regarding proposed first reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Griffin, Georgia, Chapter 94, Environment, Article 4, Stormwater Management, Division 2, Post-Development Regulations to comply with requirements in the city's 2012 General Phase 2 MPDES permit for small MS4s relating to permit design standards and performance criteria. Dr. Keller will address.
Good evening, Commissioners. There's 4 things that I'll point out. Basically, as the new permit was issued, there are certain things that we have to come in compliance with. And what we're doing is we're saving the city money. We had our own design manual. We're going to adopt the state Georgia Stormwater Management Manual, and then I won't have to spend $20,000 every 4 years updating it. Just made good sense to do that. Yes, sir. Finally. Yeah. It took 20 years. Number 2, we define the development post process in the ordinance as stated by the conditions of a permit. Number 3, we actually define goes further to go along with the Georgia Stormwater Management design manual to discuss water quality and its components. And it also talks, the last thing, about post-development process and how we go through the development process from concept to the end. Those are the 4 highlights. If Drew wants anything else, be glad to let him orchestrate or opine.
Well, you have an executive summary, so I hope you're ready.
And we did. And we don't get a Drew opine?
Right. Are there any changes that will be more costly?
After the first of the year, one of the requirements, I think Grant spoke to you all in a workshop. Kenny and I were in court back in, I think it was August. And I think he covered in the workshop the requirement for green infrastructure, low impact development. We're not there yet with our recommendations on that. I put a placeholder basically in this ordinance so that we can fit that in and amend it with, so it fit into there when we get to that point. But probably going to be what, I think April?
And hopefully sometime in February.
Yeah, well, hopefully sooner, but
somewhere
in
there.
the first quarter of next year.
I'm just here for the second one.
All right, we did have the executive summary, so that did make it a little easier to understand what it was we were trying to match to. This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to come forward and address this topic, please do so. Okay. And we will move on to the next item and receive comments regarding first reading of a revision to the cross-connection ordinance as a requirement of operation permits for Steel Branch Water Treatment Plant and Harry Simmons Water Treatment Plant for the Water Wastewater Division.
Just 2 basic comments. It's been, I think it was 2004, later 2006. We're clarifying 2 things. Obviously, under our permit for our drinking water, we have to comply with cross-connection. I think you have the information in your package, but 2 things that you need to be aware of is we are clarifying the responsibilities of ownership and installation of the backflow, and we also further define record retention according to the state. Those are the 2 major things in this revision.
And we basically have taken some of the detail, because it changes periodically based on these permits. So we've taken it out of the ordinance. We've made provision now for Brant to have a manual which sets out his cross-connection control program, and that detail will be found in the manual which this authorizes.
And that manual's already written.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Dr. Turner? Okay, this is a public hearing. If anybody would like to come forward and speak about this matter, please do so. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. You can consider approval of minutes of the workshop on October 28, 2014, and minutes of the regular scheduled meeting on October 28, 2014.
Remember, I have taken them separately, but I moved to approve the minutes of the workshop of October 28,
approve the minutes of the workshop. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any changes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
Next, I move we approve the minutes of regular scheduled meeting next day.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the regular scheduled meeting.
Second, Mr. President.
And a second. Any changes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. I believe the first one, Judy, I believe was 4-0. And the second one was 5-0 with one abstention.
Ryan said that I approved it.
I did. Due to grave illness. Okay. We'll move on to the regular agenda. Item 10, consider purchase of 60 digital Ally First View on-body cameras and View Vault server software from Digital Ally in the amount of $37,000 for the police department. Amend the budget accordingly.
Chairman, I move we approve the purchase, accept the donation, and amend the budget as presented. Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions for Chief Eaton? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
I have one question. These are recorders. Can you get a live feed if you want to see what's happening, or no? Strictly a recorder?
Simply a recorder. And it works in conjunction with the cars, so that when the blue lights come on, both cameras in the car and on the officer are activated.
Okay.
So
The
the
lights
lights are,
So, what would that have done for Officer Jordan then? He wasn't in the car, he was in the...
Because you can manually activate them as well.
Okay.
And so he would have, having a contact with the individuals at Waffle House, he would have activated the camera and been able to pick up the entire event.
is that device easily removed off an officer's body, or
I'm sorry?
is the device in a position where it cannot be easily removed off the body of the
It could be
officer?
torn from the officer's, it actually clips onto the officer's uniform. The camera system that we're purchasing has a cord that actually has a recording device in their pocket. So you may be able to take the camera, but you can't take the recording device.
I told Steve and Kenny earlier, back in September, when I went to Baltimore for continuing education, police liability seminar, the guy said two things I remember. Let's take away police officers' tasers and put body cameras on them. So he's halfway there.
Take away the taser?
Take away the tasers. There's a number of lawsuits are emerging from use of tasers. Tasers for all.
I'm okay with the taser.
I'm a big supporter of the taser.
And we saw, I guess this was also used in the asset forfeiture account as well. Do we know how the balance of that account?
Do we have a balance of that account?
Yeah, is that whittled down to?
No, I think, I don't have the exact numbers. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about $80,000.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, good. Thank you. All right, next we will request approval to declare the following vehicle surplus and advertise for sale on govdeals.com. These vehicles were seized during previous drug investigations and subsequently turned over to the Griffin Police Department by court order.
I move we approve with a comment that we have some pretty low-class drug dealers possessing valuable cars.
Okay, we have a motion with comment. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Okay, motion and second. Any questions for Chief Eaton? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we will consider approval of the holiday schedule for calendar year 2015. HR Director Miles Neville will address. A motion to approve and a second. Is there any questions for Miles? I guess it's pretty much anything noticeably different from the prior year?
Nothing different.
Okay. If we have no other questions, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, 6-0. Thank you. And we will also look at, consider approval, add Friday, December 26th to the 2014 holiday schedule. Miles? Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Question.
Question?
So the city will be shut down Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday
you approved this, that's correct.
And we can handle all of our
Except for
needs
public
with.
safety.
Okay.
From an administrative standpoint, it's gonna be a skeleton crew anyways, and, so, I mean, in my department, I'll be the only one working,
And
so
then on
it's just,
New Year's,
not a
the
whole lot.
weekend of New Year's Eve, they'll just have New Year's Day only.
That's correct,
Split them in, okay.
that's correct.
And when you see the audit, we go through how well the city's functioning. Our employees obviously working hard and doing a good job, so it's forward.
I agree.
You end up having a lot of absenteeism on that date as it is.
There will be,
People having to use their
there
days,
probably,
basically.
I would hope people wouldn't be absent when they should be there, but there would be a lot of vacation usage. It's gonna be very few people here that day.
And public
And the
safety.
county, for what it's worth, the county approved doing it last week.
All right, any other questions from us? All right, hearing none, I believe we have motion second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 6-0. And we will next consider first reading of an ordinance revising the current regulations found in the Code of Griffin at Chapter 94 Environment, Article 4 Stormwater Management, Division 2 Post-Development Regulations to comply with requirements of the city's 2012 General Phase 2 NPDES permit for small MS4s relating to permit design standards and performance criteria.
I'll move to approve.
Second. Have a motion and second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. We'll consider first reading of a revision to the cross-connection ordinance as a requirement of operation permits for Steel Branch Water Treatment Plant and Harry Simmons Water Treatment Plant for the Water Wastewater Division of Public Works and Utilities. Have a motion?
Second.
Okay, have a motion and second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 6-0. Next, we will consider approval for Tractor and Equipment Company to repair the transmission of the Stormwater's 1998 jetback truck in the amount of $41,504.25 for the Public Works and Utilities Department. Dr. Kelly will address.
I'm gonna, avoid choking, move we approve a $41,000 transmission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. What, do you have a question, sir?
No, I'm just, $41,000 transmission, stuff like that, just blows my mind.
No, repair. Repair of the transmission on a, was it about $300,000 vehicle?
Repair, not a transmission.
Repair transmission.
I know, but somebody can buy,
The whole transmission.
Okay.
Half that.
There's no questions. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, 6-0. We will next consider approval to purchase 2 hatch flow DAR sewer flow monitors from Water Resource Technologies in the amount of $37,320.68 for the Water Wastewater Division of Public Works and Utilities Department. Do I have a motion to approve? Have a motion approved. Do I have a second? Have a motion and second. Any questions for Dr. Kelly? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. No. 6-0. Next, we'll consider approval to purchase office furnishings for the new electric operations building on Thomas Drive for the low bidder Impact Office Interiors in the amount of $70,859.03. Director Bill Bosch will address.
I move we buy his furniture for our new building.
Second. A motion and a second. Any questions for Bill? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Bill, we budgeted 100 in there for the capital, and do you have any plans for the remaining 29, or is that?
Buy a transmission.
Always got plans for the.
Okay. Do it. Thank you. All right, item 19, consider for approval the Tourism Product Development Agreement Contract with the Georgia Department of Economic Development for wayfinding signage grant in the amount of $20,000 and amend the budget accordingly.
Latest installment of Dr. Kelly's later.
Make a motion approved with the question.
Have a motion? Do I have a second? consider a request from the Spalding County Collaborative Authority for Families and Children for a letter of support from the city and county to partner with the collaborative for the HUD Second Round Promise Zone designation. Kenny Smith will address.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions for Kenny? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 6-0. Next, we'll consider approval for Commissioner Rodney McCord to attend the 2014 MEAG Mayor's Summit on November 14th through 16th, 2014 in Greensboro, Georgia.
He wants to go there and send me to the hospital. That's what I tell him.
You gonna make the motion anyway? All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to send Rodney out of town. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. You did, Judy sent it out to all of us. Next, we'll consider the cancellation of regularly scheduled workshop and commission meetings on Tuesday, December 23rd, 2014. King Smith will address. Motion and a second. On December 23rd, you gonna miss us? Okay.
Well, y'all bring our children with you, so
We'll do that. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous. All right, next we'll move to the city manager's report. Kenny, do you have anything?
Just several reminders, we've got a meeting the next few days. Thursday night at 6:30, Citizens Government Academy will graduate. Be up at the Welcome Center at 6:30 Thursday night. We'd like to invite all of you to come by. Be a good ceremony.
What time?
6:30 Thursday at the Welcome Center. Wednesday, tomorrow at 2 p.m., the grand opening of the Student Veteran Center at Southern Crescent. You've got that on your calendar. Monday is the Copan groundbreaking at 11 o'clock. You have that on your calendar. And next Tuesday, Lieutenant General Kurt Rayburn from Georgia Military College will be making a presentation to EVA Griffin.
His name's actually Ray Hunt. I just found out. He's already with me.
Where's that other name from? Came off the invitation. Okay, anyway, that'll be an important meeting that you can be there for.
They want to put a Georgia Military College campus here, and so we need a real good turnout to show them we support colleges now. So we need a good showing.
Good. First 2 years of school will be
Yeah,
better.
first 2 years, we should work with UGA technically, so that might be our answer.
Will they have a military program with it, or just a military program?
We'll find out.
All right, Drew, did you have anything?
Nothing further.
All right, Commissioner McCord.
I would like to schedule on our next workshop to talk about funeral escorts. Talk to a couple of the funeral directors in town, and we seem to be a differing of opinion on funeral escorts within the city, and some from outside of the city, and they got some ideas that they would like to share.
So they're coming in to,
Well, I mean, I'm gonna present some of they can
Of the
come. We can
ideas that
invite them
they've
if
come-
y'all want y'all feel the need to, but just some concerns that they brought to my attention, and I'd like to share with everyone else.
okay. All right, Commissioner Moore.
I want to say happy birthday to all my fellow vets out there. It's been a good day.
Albert.
I second that emotion.
Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you.
Commissioner Moore. All right, if there's nothing further, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion, do I have a second?